Welcome back, YouTubers. Thank you for checking out this episode of the Darwin Pond Show. All right, so episode 3. At the end of the last episode, we had some population groups that were getting quite large and consuming all the food. Here we can see the food starting to plummet, and the population is going to start going down quite a bit with it. In the bottom left, you can already see all those guys are completely out of food. You can see them start dying off to the grayish black ones that are fading out and dying. And you see that there's a horde of them that have eaten themselves into the top left corner. And you can see the population already starting to go down as the food is just gone. Bye bye. Yep, and over here still got some food left up in this corner. The squiddies and I don't know, the angelfish we'll call them, those three-limbed kind of. There's a lot of like mutation or genetic crossbreeds, but you can see the ones that seem to be I don't know what we'll call them, the pure race or whatever. They got the three limbs that are sort of like gently stroking behind them, like I said, like an angelfish almost. And then we got the ones that are the grabbers, the triple strokers. They put their legs in front of them and sort of pull themselves forward. Color variations all among them. Squiddies are the two-limbed squid ones that swim kind of half-ass backwards. They're mixed in there too. The pink on the angelfish things might even come from those squiddies. Yeah, they're both those huge groups are eating themselves into the corner, and they will be out of food. And then you're going to see the cycle of Darwin Pond, where the population, as the population crashes, only the ones that can really get out and find the scarcer food are going to be the survivors to pass on the genetics. And that's where it gets, to me, if you're a nerd like me, it gets pretty fascinating to see the struggle that ensues once the resources are depleted. And then you'll see the population crash, the food start to regrow, and then the population will rebound, and the cycle will continue and repeat itself like that. And each time, it'll obviously weed out all the slower ones that aren't able to get to the food or mate fast enough. Oh yeah, look in the top left over there too. You can see a mass die off well underway, and there's no food really anywhere near there. So that whole cluster of creatures in that top left corner are toast. The ones who have started to make their way to the right, and they're in like the top center area, they're going to mingle with that other group as they move looking for food. And you're going to see some merging and competing, and then it looks like the food's starting to populate down the middle and to the right. So you're going to see the population groups that make their way over there. They will be able to maintain until the food recovers. Yeah, we already lost over 100 swimmers. You see the chart in the top left, down to 290 out of the 400 that was alive for a while there. And those angelfish ones is a huge cluster of them in the top right corner, sort of swarming together. Yeah, they're in serious doo-doo. There's no food anywhere over there. See, the food's in the center now, regrowing in the center of the map, and you can see the two groups making their way towards it, and they're going to start merging. You got some squiddies in there, you got some of the triple strokers, you got a bunch of the angelfish ones, and that's where you'll see another aspect of evolutionary principle coming into play, which is where these population groups mingle, they share genetics, and it may result in combinations that are able to outlive their parents. And there are, like I think I said in another episode, there are mutations in the game. Each time there's a child that's born, as it's growing, as the seed, you can see it sprouting and growing on the map. It'll combine the two genetics, and there's a small, I don't know what their mutation rate is, but there's a chance of a change in those genetics as they're copied to the young. Most of the time you'll see freaks in nature that just sort of develop some weird limb or awkward angle or swimming pattern, and it just doesn't work out too well. But that's how it works, right? They don't pass on their genetics, so the new combination or the mutant dies off. In a lot of cases it doesn't. I mean, I've done dozens upon dozens of experiments like this. I used to turn it on, leave it running at night, and then get up in the morning and see what was going on. I have a lot of creatures that I saved from that time and I saw a lot of changes, both the combination of genetics and mutations. I used to drop in species from ponds that I would do into new ponds and see what kind of results in the combination thereof. Now we got a lot of die-offs. As you can see, the population crashing. Over 200, over half the population has died, and you can see all the food starting to regenerate in the lower part of the map. And the creatures that are making their way down there are going to be the first lucky ones. You got some triple strokers there in the bottom center. Yeah, see, there's a huge population just dying over here. A lot of the angelfish ones, all toast. And I didn't show anything before, but if you're curious, if you click on the syringe type thing, you can go in, and this is like the gene editing screen where you can mess with all the different parameters for the creature's genes. As you can see, there's a decent amount for a small little lab experiment like this, and any change you make there's a live preview there. And I'm going to cancel that out because I don't really want to mess with anything. Like I said, I want this to be a au naturel pond. But yeah, you can go and tweak anything you want and see what happens. I've done that quite a bit. As I said, the parasite, that'll be at the final episode, the finale, will be something that I tweaked and messed with in different environments and tried to make it the all-around, super survivor. But I have dozens of species saved, and I'll probably do something with them eventually. I have a few ideas, like a creature feature, do a single episode where I put the creatures that I have one by one in the pond and give you the DNA code for them so you can try them out, see what they look like, stuff like that. I'm sure there's enough nerds out there be interested. All right, these are the triple strokers there. There's a little family group of them down here that have sort of all alone with the regenerating food. Might see the nucleus of a very strong population group form up there. And we got some others coming down from the top now too. But yeah, those guys are positioned well. If they spread out a little bit, you could have a couple of different groups of those triple strokers starting to swarm in that area. And you got other groups making their way down. There was a mass die-off up north there. But got some clusters making their way into the new food areas. Oh yeah, they're spreading out a little bit. So now you got some families growing. There we go. And these guys turn pretty well, and that's a huge benefit. They're able to totally spin around in quick order without losing sight of their targets. That guy just kind of turned and went to breed with that one. Didn't have much trouble turning in the right direction either. Look at these guys, more triple strokers, totally different colors though. So it looks like we're gonna have a large number of these types of creatures in the pond here, because that group's making their way into the food too. So between the one we just looked at, those lemon lime ones, you got two different population groups right there. I mean, the same species, I guess you could say, but different tribes, I guess. You got scattered. These guys are all screwed. Yeah, there's one. There's the first survivor group. We got more of the triple strokers. Oh, with some angelfish coming down. Looks like they might make it after all. I thought they were going to be toast up there in the corner, but they're making their way down. You see the population is down to 90. And now the food is bumping up back, so these groups that are going to find this new pasture over here are going to explode as far as population goes. And then they're going to consume all that food down there, and you're going to see the same cycle that happened up in the northern part repeat itself. Except this time we have, looks like a majority of these triple strokers. We got some groups of those angelfish ones that are coming in on the right, the right side over there. But that whole center area with all that food, I think those triple stroke species are going to spread like crazy. And they're mingling in the center, the lemon lime ones and the other rainbow colored ones and stuff. You can see them all mixing there in the lower center. I'll take a closer look here. Yep, definitely the species are breeding with each other too. So you're going to see some color mixing there, genetic sharing. They'll probably perfect that swimming motion, obviously, as they're all competing. And you got the angelfish and the triple stroke is mixing there in the top right of the screen. I don't know what kind of freaks that's going to produce. Well, it seems like those, and I don't know what mechanism governs which of the parents have the dominant gene, like the one that's planting the egg or the one receiving it. I really not sure. It seems like the one that plants the egg, the one that does the action of breeding, has a higher chance of passing the genes on. But I can't help but wonder if it's a function of those DNA numbers too, because there's like a 10-digit number for each DNA thing. And maybe, what number at what position or something like that plays a part. I'm not sure. Or it's just the dominant, the breeding parent, the active one. Well, but I've seen other ones pop up that were the recipient, the mother, I guess you could say. Not sure what governs that. But we've got quite an abundant food source now in the south. I got some popping up there in the top left too. Let's see how these guys are doing. See, that's as far as tribal color type thing. Those guys are fairly homogenous down there. There's a few variants, but you got some definite mixing going on there. And then you got the angelfish over here. And they're going to end up looking, in the process of hunting for that food, they're going to end up mixing with the triple strokers. I can't imagine. I can't imagine those angelfish outlasting the triple strokers. Although I think they probably use less energy with that waving kind of motion. Yeah, there's still a cluster of people in the center there, of swimmers in the center there that are going to be in trouble, I think. I don't think they're going to get to the food before those other groups in the south eat them all. The war is on. Yeah, I have no idea at this point. It's impossible to tell really what group's going to outdo what, because there might be an individual or two of the angelfish that just has that little bit of an edge that makes it get to food faster and it's able to breed and procreate its own, and it may outlast the other ones. I don't know, but those triple stroke species seem to be doing fairly well, and I think that ability to turn very quickly and precisely has given them the edge so far. I think I'd have to say that's the main one. Although maybe we could take a closer look at some of the other ones and see how they do with turning. Oh yeah, there's some big clusters moving around for food here. Now see that guy with he turns really quick. It's incredible. Take a look at this mass over here of beings. Oh yeah, we got heavy mixing with the angelfish and triple strokers now. They're gonna end up hybridizing. Look at the new color variations, huh? On the triple strokers. Seems like after they mixed with the lemon lime ones, they started picking up some different hues of colors over there. And again, I'm not sure, but I think the colors actually reflect combinations. Like if a red creature and a yellow creature breed, you might see variants around those in the color wheel, like purples, blues, oranges, stuff like that around the colors that interact. It's not just straight color transfer on the species. There will be some mixing. And there's not a ton of color variance either. I think there's maybe maximum for 9 colors or something like that. Maybe not. I did see some pinks and other stuff, so I'm not sure. But I know there's 10, in that DNA file, there's there's several numbers that control colors, limb, body, etc. And each one of those has 10 digits. So I think those must be like shades, hues, how much of a color it is. Maybe that's judged in mating and stuff like that. I think there's a lot more going on than what it looks like. That's it for this episode of the Darwin Pond Show. Thank you for tuning in, and there'll be a new episode coming soon.